Hello. If you need credentials, here they are. I did peak Diamond 1 Season 20. I do have a lot of games on Cindy, around 600. If that turns you off, that's fine. You know, clearly you're not hearing this from the best ever in the world, but you know what? I think I have a good enough grasp to understand this character and what she wants to do. So with that out of the way, hope you enjoy, hope you learn. Thank you for watching. May I introduce you? Cindy, the best character, objectively. In terms of gameplay, probably not. But this is Cindy. She is awesome. She is great. She is fun, and you will enjoy her too. And so let's get into a quick explanation. We'll go over the basics first. Everything is going to be max leveled. Max levels level 15, and abilities max out at level 5. To first preface this, everything here will be shown with the controller. You can obviously play this with a keyboard, or if you're on your phone, with your phone. This game's on mobile, it's on PC, so do what you want. You can play however you want with any control type you have. I personally prefer a controller. It allows for the use of additional angles that a PC or a keyboard won't allow you to. And you know, same goes for the mobile phones as well. You just have access to more angles, allows you to do, you know, just a bit more, hit certain things, whatnot you. But you can play with any type of control you want. Alright, so let's get started. Abilities. Triple kick is your basic. Cinderella kick is your dash, and Cinderella dive is your ultimate ability. If you have not already noticed, a little bit of character lore, she is inspired off of Cinderella. So if those abilities right there don't scream Cinderella, you know, I hope you don't have a subscription to Disney Plus because it is not worth it. But anyways, let's show you what these abilities do. Alright, so each basic attack and skill have an air version and a ground version, except your ult. That will always be consistent whether they're used in the air or the ground. So let's get triple kick out of the way. It's a 2-button move, so you press it twice, and it accounts for 3 hits. The first hit, and then the second hit. Alright, that's on the ground. In the air, it is a roundhouse kick. It's behind her as well. It's any angle. Believe the sides too. Yeah. Okay. And let's get to dash. Cinderella kick. That is Cinderella kick. It is going to be your main use. It's going to be very important. We will talk about that later. And in the air, turns into dive kick. Now your ult. Cinderella dive. As note, there is an extremely large recovery period, so you know, take note of that. And so now that we've got your basics out of the way, we can talk about the most important part: combos. Now combos, as you very well know, or not, doesn't matter, we're here to learn. Combos with this character is how you get your damage out. It is the most important thing for you to understand, and is how you impact the game. We'll start off with the thing, your bread and butter, the most basic Cindy combo you will be doing every time you hit anybody with your dash. There always has to be a ground dash. You cannot convert your air dash into anything, okay? As it'll leave you too far away to really connect with anything. So every single starter, except for the few we will talk about in a bit, every single starter will start off with a dash. So start off with the thing you're going to be learning the very most. You're going to be doing this every time. I've already said it before, but I'll repeat it again. It is the thing you'll be doing the most. It is the bread and butter of Cindy's everywhere. And it is written down for you. And I'm sorry if this is a bit written down a bit weird. I just use not fighting game notation, but I am noting down what the sequence of events is. Okay, so bread and butter, without further ado, is dash, jump, air basic, dash. Most damaging for you without anything else, without inputting your ult or without ever thinking about ult, it is very basic. It is the thing you will be doing the most. So okay, there it is. That's it. That's what you're gonna be doing. That's what it looks like. Alright, now that we've seen the combo, we can improve upon it, or we can downgrade it, either or. You can do a way much simpler combo that removes the air basic out of the equation by just doing dash and then jump and then dash. You could do that. It's a lot less damage. So much, it's a lot simpler, but you know, you're here for the extra damage, right? So you're gonna do the B&B all the time. You can use the air dash if you're feeling inconfident, like if you feel like you'll die if you can't hit it. Hey, just go for the dash. It doesn't matter. Like it's all up to you to really make that decision in the first place. I always do the bread and butter, even if I have to like jump off stage to convert the combo. I'll do it. I'll die some of the times, but you know what? It's a risk I'm willing to take. But so now that we've got our basic, we can do something with it to make it our max damage. Yes, that's right. We are taking the dash, jump, its air basic, and including our ultimate, because you can do that. So, quick example, and to preface this, I'm going to be using a term called back-turned, because it's a bit of a mouthful to say. Okay, then you jump, then you turn around, hit air basic, and it's all just using back-turned air basic. Or like air basic, like yeah, back-turned air basic, back-turned air basics. Alright, so before we get to that, we're going to be doing another combo, which is what leads to the max damage combo. So to set up the max damage combo, what we're going to understand is that if we hit a really low air basic connect, so like this, and our back is turned, so you get that? So our back is turned, we hit a back turned deep connect air basic, we can convert off of it. We can convert off of our basic auto attacks on the ground. So we'll keep in mind, with that knowledge there, we can convert with our ult on the ground. It is a possible thing you can do. So if you can get this first, basically goes like this. Boom, there you go. Works. It is a real combo. They can't get out of it. So with that knowledge, we then we would then do what we did for our bread and butter, and then we would do the same for the max damage. So to lay it all out for you and to write it down, it would be dash, jump, back turned air basic, into ult. So let's see if I can do this. Harder than it looks. 100% harder than it looks. Harder than I'm telling it to you. I'll show you a complete, real, not me messing it up right now. Now, the difficult part with combo is recognizing 1, you have ult, 2, you're going to have the presence of mind to back turn your air basic, and 3, you're going to slightly delay the ult. It's not all one quick motion. It's because if it is one all quick motion, you're obviously you're canceling out the air basic before it even hits, and they're gonna fall out, and you just waste an ulti. So yeah, you could practice this if you want. Personally, it is max damage. It could be more max damage with enchantments, but it's a combo that you really have to think about. Like, yeah, okay, if I land a dash, I'm going to convert into this combo. It's something you can do. Obviously, it's very rewarding if you do. Hell, I rarely do it, but the times when I do it, it feels really good. So yeah, something you can strive towards. Honestly, it's really cool. And lastly, we're going to be talking about one enchantment really early, which is the Super Jump enchantment. The Super Jump enchantment is going to be talked about more in the enchantments section, but you can use it for combos. And it works with your bread and butter and your ult. And that's basically all you can really use it for. You will obviously, it's going to be talked about later, but we'll talk about that later. So, Super Jump enchantment works as works just like the jump. You would use it in the jump to convert off of the phase. But obviously the Super Jump gives you a lot more momentum to work with. And so, in essence, we're using it to better confirm the max damage combo. So in a sense, it's basically a tad bit easier to do than like a regular like max damage combo with no Super Jump. So let's see if I can do this. First try. Show you real quick. That's what the Super Jump enchantment looks like. Obviously, it is affected by momentum. So if you're like moving forward, it will obviously move you a tad bit further. But let's see. The notation is the same, but it looks different. It's going to look a lot more different because of the fact of where the Super Jump places you. So let's see, for example. Alright. So with Super Jump, you're basically landing, you're basically being pushed behind them. And without changing your direction, although I did show earlier that with the change of direction, the combo in and of itself still kind of works. I don't know how I would explain that, but yeah, it works the same. Instead of having to turn behind them while you're in front of them, while you're jumping in front of them, you're turning around real quick, back turn, and then hitting your air basic. In essence, the Super Jump just pushes you behind them, so in essence, it's basically the same thing. That is a thing you can do with Super Jump. It also works by doing your bread and butter, although it's a bit more finicky. In my experience, I can't consistently hit that, but with the Super Jump, it in a sense, it sort of makes it a bit easier for you at the cost of an enchantment slot, in my opinion. Alright, now we get to matchups. Now, to be frank, I'm basing my experience on Dominion, but this, in a sense, kind of also applies to duels. Dominion's 3v3. And while you won't always fight the other legend 1v1, it is helpful to understand what they can do to stop you, and what you can do to play around it. Note, the mirror match only applies to duel and casual Dominion, as ranked Dominion only allows one of every character. So without further ado, let's get on to our first section, Vanguards. Now then, we reach the Cindy, the mirror match. Or if you're facing Cindy, if she is dashing from max range at you, you should always either jump or sidestep the dash. If you are ranged, hit her. She cannot approach you from a dash. She will always have to approach from the air if you are ranged. If she is in the air, you need to move towards her because her dash shoots at an angle, and she very much cannot hit close unless she's lower to the ground as she were. But if she's in the air, make an effort to note that, move around. If you're try to get towards her, if she's trying to shoot to you from up high, get closer to her. Keep a mental note of where she is relative to you, and that's pretty much all you would do. It's usually if you're facing a Cindy in like casual Dominion, it's whoever hits the dash first is usually going to beat out the interaction. Now then, Kaiser. Kaiser, it's best not to engage if you are on the ground if he's in his ult. If he's in his ult, he has super armor, and so he's not gonna get one. He's not gonna get launched, and two, if he goes for an attack, his attacks have extra hitboxes. They have it's more so like an extra punch. So he hits. Yeah, more so it has extra boxes. It's gonna clip you. You're not gonna get in. It's better to just wait it out than to challenge him. Note, if you combo him off stage, he is more likely than not. He's more likely to die. So it's better to practice the B&B, or if you want, you can try and go for the basic simpler combo of dash to dash. If he's off stage, very off stage, he's most likely not gonna come back. He does not have the tools for it. But note, if you're on the ground, keep note of where you are, because he does have a punch that if he gets and he points you in the direction where you're off stage, you're most likely not going to come back either. So make a note of that. And yeah, make a note of that. Marina, one of the hardest matchups. One, because you're short range, and two, because of her swim, which is her skill. If she's swimming on ground, she is invincible. You are not going to tag her whatsoever, so don't even try. If she swims from the air and reaches the ground, it's better not to challenge her either. It's just your dash, it takes up a wind before it starts going, and if she's aiming straight towards you, she's probably gonna hit you before you even have the chance to dash out. So it's best to just jump over her, avoid the hit whatsoever. Towards the end of her swim, she will pop back out, and that also has an hitbox. So you want to take note of that. You can try and punish the swim, but you're gonna have to charge the dash like when you know she's gonna come back down. So she pops up, she does her little extends her arm out, and then she's coming back down. That's the moment where she has no hitbox, and you can try to punch that. But also keep mental note, she does have an ability where she jumps 3 times instead of 2, so keep a note of that. I think it's more common than you think, but make a note of that. TMO, very aggressive character. If you're in like a close quarter situation, you're very close to her, she will win out more often than not because she has more range than you. Slightly more range, but more range. When I say skill matchup, I say more so that I fight them, and I don't very much think about the situation usually. Yeah, I don't have like anything I would tell you off the top of my head. But I was like, oh, like a very definitive like this is what you do for TMU. It's just that TMU's kit is surrounded by super armor sometimes. And so yeah, it's better if she's approaching you. If she can use her dash. She has super armor. It's best to just avoid it, jump around. If she has her ults, if she has her ult, be very wary of the fact that she might have this skill where more projectiles spawn when her ult projectiles hit the ground. Dodging Timu's ult is very hard. I don't do it consistently because it's kind of random, but just don't challenge her when she's ulting. Well, don't challenge anybody when she's ulting really, but what can I do? It's a skill matchup in the sense that either you or the TMU can come out on top. I don't think TMU has very much like great ways to counter you, but either way, it depends on the day. Brick, another one of your hardest matchups, for the simple fact that he could cut off approach angles from the ground. He has the ability where he can pop up walls, and depending on the height, they can hit you. And depending on where he places them, you're just gonna not have access to him whatsoever. So you're probably gonna have to go from the air, but even then, that's not your best bet to attack him whatsoever. These are all under the assumption that you kind of have to fight them, but it's probably just best to take him on during the scramble or just to fight somebody else, because of the fact that he just has walls, you can put them up. yeah, that's about it. You know, probably not best to fight him, but if you're going to, you have to, you know, try to approach him during the scramble. You know, the 3v3. Don Quixote. You can't challenge him during his charge. That's either if he uses his charge on the ground or if he comes from the air and uses his air skill, his air charge. He comes down on the ground and charges. You can't challenge him when he's charging. Don't try to. You can, and this is the best bet, just to jump around him. He has no way to turn around. Just like Marina, they both can't like do a 180-degree turn immediately. They have to, you know, swerve around like a car. They have to swerve around, do that. Don't challenge him when he's in his dash, and no, you know, when dash charge, yeah, the same thing. And when he's in his ult, and his ult is basically just he takes reduced damage, and if you hit him, he will not get knocked back, and he will produce a shot wave and push you back. So, you know, time that out. You know, you can time it when it runs out and you can't do anything about it, and that's your moment to hit him. It's a consistent punish. You can do it. It just takes time. Maya. I wish I had a strat for you. I don't see enough Maya players out there to tell you what to do. So if you do know, or if like if you're a Maya player, you know, leave some like helpful tips. You know, like, you know, because we're all trying to understand what Maya does as a character. Not really a lot play her. I think she's a really good character. Not a lot of people play her. If you do want one thing to know, she does have a mechanic where after a certain amount of time moving forward, she increases her movement speed. However, she can't immediately turn backwards, because then that means she loses the movement speed. And in that state where she has increased movement speed, her abilities do something different while she's dashing. So one of her abilities turns from like a dash forward to like a charge, not a charge, to a stun, an immediate stun. And she is a big body, so beware of that. More often than not, if she's going to hit you, she most likely will hit you. Not a lot of sidestepping to do. It's really rough, but that's all I understand from Maya in a sense. If you have any Maya tips, please let me know in the comments below, please. Yang. Like Don Quixote, but in this case, he has his own mechanic where after a certain amount of times charging, he becomes invulnerable to getting displaced. So you can't hit him out of his charge. He's like Don Quixote, but kind of a bit more mobile. He does have the ability to make sharper turns. So, be a note of that. So you can't really get him out of his dash unless you hit him immediately, like on the startup, or like while he's dashing before before he becomes fully invulnerable. His ult is predictable enough where if you see it, you should have time to get away, unless you're like in the air and you're coming down and you have no way of getting down. If he times it to where he's gonna hit you when you're coming down at the same time, you're not getting out of that. But his ult range isn't big enough, and you should be able to get out of it, and it is a very, very, very clean punish where you can do it. You can punish him out of it. Alright. With Vanguards over, we get to Assassins. Red, very much a skill matchup. To be honest with you, it is my favorite matchup to fight. She is my most favorite legend to fight, just because of the because of her ult, which allows her to become invisible. And then it's on you to figure out where she is, try to track her, or on the red to try to keep it mixed up, try to try not to be too close where like you hit her out of her invisibility, or where she's not far away where the Cindy can react to the red, trying to dash in with her scissors and kill you. Keep a mental note of, you can try and guess where she's trying to ult, because she dashes a bit further when she is invisible, and she has super on her on that dash, so keep note. And she leaves footprints. She won't lift footprints in the air, and I have noticed where some reds do run super jump if they have it, where they can like reposition without you noticing very far away. So keep that in mind. If you see footprints, you'll immediately know where she is. But if you see footprints, and but there's also the inverse of you see the footprints but you just can't react fast enough. Very much a skill matchup. It can go either way. Snow. If the snow is good, it is going to be a difficult fight. I'm sorry. He has dashes. He can get dashes. He has the ability to kill you pretty fast. It is going to be a rough time for you. I have not much to help say with that. It's going to be a scramble between you and the snow. It's going to be rough. and more often than not, the snow might get onto you because he has the ability to reposition almost immediately, so it's going to be rough. Ali, he will want to get in by throwing his dagger at you, so if you don't get tagged by the initial throw of the dagger itself, you're probably not going to get hit. But do keep note of where he puts his dagger down, and keep a note of that, because you can punish him for it, but you have to be a bit quick. He's not going to stay there forever. Also take note where if he might be invisible if he takes a certain skill that allows him to be invisible during his ult, on the start of his ult. And if he is invisible, try to assume that he might try to position behind you so he can tag you with his ult daggers that spawn out. Just be aware of that. Remember, the same applies. They leave footprints if they're invisible. Alright, so try to keep in mind of that. Now we got Kurenai. Best not to fight him, since more likely than not, it's kind of hard to not get hit. He has a skill that does a lot of things. Not does a lot of things. I just don't know. I'm sorry, my bad. It's pretty hard. It's best just not to fight him. You have to keep note if he's in the air. Try to keep a mental note that they always have their skill up, so don't try to challenge them, moving towards them. Try not to challenge. Sorry. I have not much to say, really. Kurenai is kind of like Maya, but just a little bit more played. But I don't face them often enough to could give you any a concrete tip to help fight. Wolfgang, keep your distance around try to keep your distance and be around the range of his skill, which is a lunge forward, which is sort of a tiny, like a modest lunge forward. It's not a super long lunge, but it's there. Best not to challenge him. That's pretty much it. There's not much else really I can say. He can kill you really fast because he has a really slow attack combo, and he can use that to combo into his ult, like a lot of characters can do. But it's more advantageous for him to do that, just to keep you there long enough to to delay the string long enough to keep you there. Yeah, not much else I can say about that. Molly is the skill matchup. It is on you to bait out her parry, and it's on her to guess. We can Molly is like hold on, how would I explain this to you? It's like Molly is the part of the game where we get to mind games. So the mind game goes, if Molly thinks you're gonna hit her, she ults. That's level 1. And the level 2 would be, okay, she's going to assume I'm going to push a button to hit her, so I'm not gonna push a button. And then she wastes her ult. And the level 3 would be, okay, the Molly knows that you're not gonna push something, so she's just gonna push a button to hit you for free. And then so on and so forth. That's where the level stacking, the stacking of thought processes begins with a Molly. But that's like a really advanced Molly, and I think a majority of the time people are just not there yet. That's like mind games upon mind games, and that I guess would only really apply in the 1v1 situation. In the 3v3 scramble, it's probably not going to be like that. Molly's going to want to go for guaranteed, if she sees a Ravi ulting, it is a free ult. It is a free ult parry, because it is a free ult parry, because her ult allows her to take 100% reduced damage and send back the damage and send back the damage. She's probably going to go for guaranteed ults where she knows she can push the button and then it will be a guaranteed parry, stuff like that. Do note, she has a pretty long dash, and she can hit you out of the air. note that if she sees you jumping and she pushes her skill while she's also in the air, it is a Shoryuken, she can hit you out of the air. So be mindful of her dash, which is basically her dash. Yeah, her dash. Be mindful of that. Pretty low. Oh wait, if she has a rock ball out, she has the rock ball out, which is basically just her using her skill, and she like hits twice to send the ball forward, which is the rock. She can hit you with that. That's one of her ways of poking you from long range. So it's best to just keep moving around in a circle where she can't hit you with that, because more often than not, the rock will target the last position, and if you just keep moving, it will miss you the majority of the time. Like a lot of things, you're going to know the attack ranges and like ult ranges of a lot of characters, most specifically Ravi and Peter, but it also applies to Aoi too, because of the fact that if she hits anybody with her ult has two parts: the small hit, initial hit, and the follow-up hit that tremendously expands her range outwards, and will tag you, and she will probably run the skill of you taking a bonus damage, like a lot more damage. So you will have to recognize that if she hits somebody, her ult range will expand, and you want to try to be more often than not, even if she misses, you want to be outside of that expanded ult range. And yeah, that's almost about it really for you. She does have a pretty big range, so try not to dash in. If the Aoi notices you dashing in, she's probably gonna push the button to intercept your dash. Rapunzel, maintain distance. She has a stun, and the only way her ult's to connect to get a guaranteed ult connect is if she hits you twice with her basic and then combos into her ult. Her ult is a outward. It's like a projectile on the ground that goes outwards. If you get tagged by any of it, you will take the damage from that hit, and then you will be tagged. And then after a few seconds of being tagged, the second part of the ult will explode onto your hitbox. So, by some miracle, you will land on the ground beforehand, before the second follow-up hit of her ult is to come out. Try to dodge roll really fast on the ground. It's like a get up roll. You're invincible, so that means that follow-up attack will be cancelled. It will no longer be there. That is just one of the small minute aspects of Rapunzel's ult to keep note of. Peter has a lot of range over you. If you play this game, you are very much well aware of Peter's range over you. Try not to be too obvious, or he'll hit you out of your dash. And you will be very well acquainted of how big his ult range is. You can jump over it. It is a thing. If he aims it towards you, try to jump towards him. So because Peter can't, turn very well with his ult unless he's running a skill. But even then, it's safer for you to just jump over him. So yeah, keep in mind of that. Parfait has a stun like Rapunzel, but and if she's running an ability, she can slow you down on hit if she hits you. So that's gonna make your life a little bit really rough. Also, she has another ability where she can res one time per life. You can punish the res, but I haven't done much study. It's much more based on my own feel. I now know she can be punished out of this. It's all on timing, but I don't know the timing very well. I usually just count. If I see her, I count, and I'm near her, and I can't go for the punish. I try to count to 5 real fast, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on the 4 I prepare a dash so it hits on 5. And if it works out, she will be knocked up, and you will hit her. But she can ult. If she has ult available, she will want to ult. And depending on where she aims her ult, the Parfait's ult, you can dash out of it just in time, so you won't get hit. But that's depending on whether or not you get tagged, or you do too late, too early. It's very much a skill thing that you will learn. Not much else I can say about that. Jacko, good luck. I truly don't know. He does a lot of damage. Best of luck to you. If you know, please put in the comments. I don't know. This is like a cry for help. I don't know. I'm sorry. Master Cat, same deal as Jacko. If you know, please say so. He has range over you, and if he's in the air, it's kind of tough because it is on you to try to get away, because he has a really big hitbox on a lot of his moves, including the move he does where he comes down spinning with a hitbox. Comes down spinning, that is in itself a hitbox. So good luck with that. I'm sorry, I wish I could say more, really, but if you do know, please tell in the comments. Nui, you can hit her in the air with your air dash, but you might get clipped by Nui's air basic, which spawns orbs around her, and she will, if she notices that you're near her, she will use it before she lands. She can use it. It stalls her momentum in the air. So take a note of that. Also, she has a skill where she can put down a field that tracks you, and after a second delay, spawn a beam to hit you. But if you're moving consistently, the beam won't hit, so you can be alright. She can do serious damage. I know she can insta-kill you. She does do a lot of damage. She is like Master Cat and like Jacko. She can do a lot of damage really quickly. Ravi, very much a skill matchup in my opinion. He can scoop you from both the air and the ground to hit you, or if he's in the air, he can spike you down. So be very careful around being like, near ledges and stuff like that. You will also become, like Peter, very familiar with his ult range. You can't punish him afterwards though, so no, if you get out of the way, you sort of keep a track if he wants to. One of the skills that you'll develop while you're playing is where some people will want to ult. So like if, I'll say for example, if Ravi's, if you have control of the point, of the Dominion point, Ravi will want to get into the center of the stage and want to ult. So you'll think of in my thinking, I'll think of, okay, Ravi wants to ult here, I'll try to prematurely, back away, and then he'll ult, and it'll be stuff like that. You'll have a feeling for when certain characters want to ult. It's just a skill you'll pick up as you play the game more. Wukong, skill matchup. I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I know. Very, very, very good Cindy tutorial guide you're putting up there. I know. I'm trying my best. I'm sorry. Zapata, the only legend that can kill you by hitting you straight up. The only legend that can do that. You're going to have a bit of a rough time. It's more or less kind of a skill matchup. You certainly can dictate the matchup more. If she has ult, that is her all free dash. And then she can use any of her skills to empower to hit you for like more damage or do a big uppercut. That, well, takes time to charge up, can kill you from the top of the screen. So be careful, alright? You see her and she's charging up that fist, don't challenge. Keep your distance. Marksman, your toughest matchup ever. Godspeed, soldier. I wish you the best. Okay, Kumi can keep you out from dashing on the ground, so be a note of that. Other than that, you're gonna have a tough time. Sorry. Flare, Flare. While I did think this was the hardest matchup for you as a person to try and understand, if you're playing Cindy, if she ever jumps in the air, it is your duty to hit her out of the air with your dash skill. Okay? Stop her from jumping in the air. Stop her from doing the thing she wants to do, where she shoots, where she jumps and shoots. It's on you, all right? It leaves her vulnerable. It's on you, okay? It's on you. Hook, don't bother fighting her. She outranges you 100%, and she will kill you if she tags you while she's in her ult, which allows her to do more damage. You can try and sidestep if you can, because it locks her in one place, and since you're a pretty fast character, you do have the ability to sidestep out of her attacks if you're close to her. So keep that in mind. Rampart, like Hook, just better not to find them. Do note they are pretty tanky for a marksman. and Robin, they're the same as Hook. So I would just give you the knowledge of Hook. He does have his ult does allow him to reposition backwards. So it's best to not fight a lot of the marksmen straight up, unless they're like Flare, who's in the air. So just try to keep your distance. This is a team game. So, try to fight all of these marksmen while they're in the scramble. Keep note of that. Now we get to support characters. Okay, real quick, your hardest matchup is going to be Alice. She will place down mines. She will stop you from dashing. She will stop you from ulting. Yeah, a really big ult range. You are going to be very familiar, and it's going to be very hard to stop because it's very quick. Because she can do it in the air, and you will very well notice how big her ult range is. So be careful about that. Goldie, she's going to be very aggressive. Like Tiamu, she's going to be very aggressive on you. She does have the ability to her first for the first part of her basic auto attack allows her to move forward and low profile. So be wary of that. She does have the ability to heal herself, and she does have a spike. So if you see her positioning towards the edge, be careful of that. She might go to spike you. The Witch Queen, you're not gonna have, since she has an ability to allow her to have a bigger jump height. It's best just not try to challenge her from the air, because she will most definitely have air superiority above you. You want to close that gap, try to be like underneath her, but also at the same time she does have an ult ability that allows to polymorph and turn you into a frog. So try to keep aware of that. Keep aware that if she has ult, she's going to want to use it. Try to move around a bit. Try to, if she's ulting, it's like a second charge, but try to be moving while you're under her as well, so as to not be standing still and be a free target. Octavia, she's going to want to control the air with how big her range is in the air when she does a certain attack. Other than that, it's kind of on you. It's certainly a kind of a skill matchup in a sense. Alright, now we get to specialists. Oh god, your hardest one will be Lauren Vex. By the fact that she can get onto you pretty fast with one of her skills, it is going to be a little bit rough for you. Also, in the air too, so it's going to be rough for you. If you're facing Lauren Vex, if you're facing Lauren and Vex is the little like knight thing she summons as part of her ult. I think it's best for you to target the Vex first. However, do not try to target the Vex if you are already in their sight range, because they will automatically shoot at you and you will most likely automatically get clipped. So try to attack from outside of the range. You do have a pretty big dash. Try to attack her from there. Try to focus the Vex first. It's better for you to attack the Vex than try to attack Lauren while she has Vex available to her, really. Victor, while I do think that the buff they gave to Cindy where she can reset her dash on Victor's mines, more often than not, it's going to be a bit tough for you, since that man can move. He does have, his skill allows him to jump and position forwards, and he can do so multiple times. It does not call him to go, it does not take him landing recovery to do so shortly in the air. It's going to be rough for you. Most certainly you can try not to contest while he has his mine down and you're in front of him. And if he hits you with his mine, because the tiny mine itself, while he's throwing it, does have a hitbox, so try to be careful about that. Madam Lettuce, you can stop her, but she does have a skill that throws out pokes, and those can stop you from charging it at her. So it's best not to go from max distance or somewhat far distance where she can react. It's going to be hard for you to stop her once she really gets going. Once she starts getting her ult abilities and she starts throwing out, it's going to be hard for you to avoid, really. You can outrun it, but then again, she's turning a 3v3 into a 2v3 while she has advantage because you're so busy running around. It's a little bit of a rough matchup for you, but you can try to stop her before she starts going all crazy. Madame Liss is very much a momentum character. Ducky and Swan, your best bet is to try to hit Ducky, but the Ducky will more likely than not try to pace back and not be too far in the fight. They might run a skill that gives them like a free, like try to keep, like she can run a skill which is basically like a get off move while she's charging her skill. Ducky and Swan and Madame Liss have the same thing where their ults are tied to a resource meter, while Madame Liss requires her to get hits with her skill. Ducky and Swan gets it over time just by existing, and the first few like 3 charges of her ults she can do damage and it will go up faster. So best be note of that. And that should be it for every character. I know it is my apologies if some of the information I give you is a little rough. I'm just giving you, ballparking my advice to you to hopefully you have a better understanding. I didn't have a guide. Certainly there are videos on YouTube that you can look up, but you know, I just want to give something out there, have something you can use to hopefully understand your gameplay better if you're playing Cindy and you're going on to all these fights. All right, hey, really appreciate you listening, and if you want to turn off, this is probably the end of the video, but if you want some tips as in which Cindy skin is the best Cindy skin, well, boy howdy, click Striker Cindy. Striker Cindy is the best Cindy skin ever. Hey, find Min Labs, give her a mythic, and give it to me. Yeah, nah, I'm just kidding. But if she does have a mythic, I will be the first one to be there and get it. But if you want rankings in order from the ones that I have, I think Striker Cindy, obviously the best. But if you buy the road pass, Fantastic Dancer is also good as well. Then afterwards you can finish your Cindy's okay. Ballerina of Darkness is pretty cool, and Winter Delivery Girl is also as well. The blue one's specifically the best, but you can also do the red one or the the dark purple one. Dark cool for more Dusky Edge. And base Cindy, it's cute Cindy. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much if you're here. I know this is a really long video, but thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. This is probably the first time ever that I've made a tutorial for anything, and I know it's a little scuffed. I will do my best. If there's any sort of changes to Cindy in the future, I will do my best to make an updated video, which is hopefully a bit more better edited, like stuff like that. Thank you so much for listening, and hey, I'll see you out there. I do play this game a lot. I will continue to play this game a lot. And if you see me, try to beat me up, please. I can always do better with getting better at Cindy. And thank you for listening. Have a good day. Hello. Final note. I would just like to add, if you don't understand something, please ask away in the comments. I will answer them. Just ask it to me. I will probably get it out to you pretty soon-ish. Please don't be afraid to ask in the comments. I will do my best, and if you have like an answer, say it away. All right, realistically, this is probably like the longest Cindy guide ever made. I kind of checked as in like gave it like 20, like a quick cursory glance, but this is the longest. Any info you have, put it down. If you have a question, I'll probably answer it, or somebody else will answer it. Just please don't be afraid. Ask the question. Thank you for watching.